in-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
The 4-day ceasefire between Israel and Hamas now underway. The release of the first group of hostages still expected later today. Good morning, I'm Tom Miller.
And I'm Erica Brenes. The truce marks the first pause in nearly 7-week-old war. Humanitarian aid will also be moving into the Gaza Strip. The video from inside the Gaza Strip shows some Palestinian residents beginning to return to what's left of their homes as the ceasefire began. The truce marks the first pause in this nearly 7-week-old war. The pause started overnight with the first 13 hostages, all women and children, expected to be handed over later this morning. And they'll be exchanged for 39 Palestinian prisoners in Israel jails. In total, at least 50 hostages are expected to be freed from Gaza and 150 Palestinians from Israel. A Qatari foreign ministry spokesperson explained the decision-making process behind who will be released.
The criteria on which to prioritize the hostages was purely humanitarian, as you know, and our focus was on getting the women and children out of harm's way as soon as possible, which is basically what we are doing within this agreement.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said he will press ahead after the war, after the ceasefire expires.
First warning weather with meteorologist Kristen Curry.
Well, good Friday morning. We start with a look at radar, not showing us anything in the way of precipitation, rain, none of that, but satellite picking up on some of that cloud cover. And that cloud cover will be here this morning, but we actually have more sunshine expected later on today. Live look up and around Rock, courtesy of our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies weather camera there. Everything looks good. Visibility down below, visibility up top. Temperatures are cold. Yes, 30s in Mason and Llano, 40s and low 40s at that. Up in Williamson County, 44 in downtown Austin, a mix of 30s and 40s in Hayes County, with more of the same as you move east of I-35. But our temperatures not too far from where we were yesterday. If anything, 1 or 2 degrees warmer, and we're going to see a warmer afternoon to follow too. Yesterday, that cloud cover and a little bit of rain stuck us back into the upper 50s. But today, we get our 60s back. Forecast high 65 here in Austin underneath that mainly sunny sky. Just some scattered cloud cover here and there today. Rain chances on the way. They start tomorrow. They continue tomorrow night into Sunday. So we'll talk about this cold front coming through and then potentially some more rain on the back end of the 7-day. But all eyes will be on your weekend forecast, which we'll talk more about here in your first warning weather.
Thank you, Kristen. This is developing overnight. Roads are back open this morning after a car hit and killed a man in central Austin. Austin Travis County EMS says it happened on 45th Street near Airport Boulevard in the central part of the city. Still working on getting more information, and we'll update you as soon as we do. As many of us are waking up after the Thanksgiving feast, there are more Central Texans needing help getting enough food right now.
In Hayes County, the food bank added hundreds more holiday food boxes that it was giving out this year. It even had to close registration early because it was already at maximum capacity. There are 1,800 of these boxes going out to people who need food assistance. For 17 years, the Hayes County Food Bank has hosted its holiday meal box program, but Executive Director Lisa Young says they've noticed a higher demand recently.
Many people need this. These are not the poorest of the poor in the line all the time. It's families from just all across the board.
She says both rising grocery costs and SNAP benefits decreasing because pandemic emergency benefits ended are turning more people to the food bank. And with all that extra demand, the Hayes County Food Bank says it's looking to build a new facility to keep up. Young says they'll start fundraising efforts in February. Sarah, who reported on this story, mentioned decreasing SNAP benefits as a reason for increasing food security. Tonight at 10, the investigation into Texas and the delay of these benefits.
As you're waking up this morning, you may be thinking already about shopping with Black Friday now here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of shopping on the mind. We've got some tips on how you can save money today and throughout the entire holiday season.
Start off by downloading the apps for your favorite stores.
So bigger box retailers like Amazon, Target, Walmart, they're going to have newsletters, apps, emails that you can sign up for that are going to send you those promotions on a daily basis.
Don't forget Small Business Saturday, this Saturday, November 25th. Now, small businesses may not have apps, so follow their social media pages for promotions and deals. And when you make a purchase, ask about the store's return policies. Check your receipt, look for signs at the register, and check their apps and websites for policies so there is no confusion. Now, if you're shopping online, use browser extensions to help you find coupons and deals.
And that way you can see when the price dips, and that's when you want to make your purchase.
Just keep in mind they may collect some of your basic personal information. Check the terms and conditions before you use them. Of course, right around the corner from Black Friday and Small Business Saturday is Travel Deal Tuesday.
We recommend that if you're thinking about vacations for 2024, aim to book on Travel Deal Tuesday to travel in January if possible. January is the cheapest month of the year to fly and to stay in hotels.
Okay, it's that time. One of Austin's most celebrated holiday events is back. Peppermint Parkway at the Circuit of the Americas racetrack opens today. The drive-through parkway comes to life with millions of lights, the Grinch himself, snowflake roller skaters, holiday hits, and more.
New this year, there is a petting zoo, 3 new rides, a 3-lane light-up slide. Tickets are at $45, and you can book them online.
2 people are dead after a car explosion on a bridge at a U.S.-Canada border crossing. What the FBI's investigation says so far.
And the small modified handgun, so dangerous that Dallas police are now rushing to get them off the streets. The device that makes these particular guns so deadly. Good morning. This is a live look outside from our Whittlesey Landscape Supply Company camera up there in Round Rock, not far from the Round Rock outlets, which I'm sure are going to be buzzing later this morning. I want to tell you about this. We're learning some more about a car explosion on a bridge at a U.S.-Canada border crossing. The Rainbow Bridge now back open.
Yeah, right near Niagara Falls. The FBI says their investigation of the scene does not appear to be terrorism related. They are looking at the incident as a traffic investigation. This comes after a vehicle sped toward a border checkpoint on the U.S. side of the bridge, hit a booth, and then exploded, and it killed both the driver and the passenger inside.
As Thanksgiving turns to Black Friday, we're learning that holiday spending could increase to nearly $1 trillion this season. The growing movement to move some of that money toward a smaller carbon footprint.
A new competition to help regulate artificial intelligence technology.
Good morning. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and now you're maybe thinking about shopping and how you want to spend your Black Friday. This is a live look from South Austin back at downtown. Well, we are learning that holiday spending could increase to nearly $1 trillion this season, but there's this growing movement of spending some of that money with a smaller carbon footprint, rebranding Black Friday Green Friday.
And it's even being embraced by a well-known tidying expert, Marie Kondo. National climate reporter Chase Kane spoke with her about how to consider the planet with what you give.
'Tis the season of the biggest impact on our planet. The things we buy are responsible for 60% of our greenhouse gas emissions, and one report says 80% of what we buy on Black Friday ends up in a landfill, especially if it's clothing. The author of Consumed writes about the outsized impact of fast fashion, which, even when donated, usually ends up in the dump or littering beaches a world away.
What is the most important thing about consumerism and its impact on the planet?
That it doesn't make us happy and it's aiding in climate crisis. That we're actually like drowning in stuff.
Aja suggests vintage stores for a climate-friendly alternative, or better yet, reconsider shopping altogether.
Hello, I'm Marie Kondo.
Tidying expert, best-selling author, and star of 2 Netflix series recognizes the carbon footprint of having so much stuff.
Now
having kids myself, it really resonates with me. You know, what kind of planet are we leaving behind through this act of tidying up for the next generation?
And during the holidays, many of us struggle to think of the right thing to buy a loved one, or there can be the stress of crowds or just spending all that time online trying to find something that you hope they won't return. Instead, Marie encourages gifts which can't be wrapped. Think massages, unique experiences close to home, a donation to charity, or even just dinner together.
Those can be considered gifts in many respects. So spending time with someone that normally you might not have a lot of time to spend with. And what is the intention behind the act? Are we trying to deepen our human connection between this person? And I think if you look at it within that lens and context, actually it could be an experience or a journey that sparks joy for you, the giver.
A study from IBM shows 3/4 of Americans want to make more sustainable choices. And what better way than giving the gift of memories? In New York, I'm National Climate Reporter Chase Kane.
If you'd still like to buy a physical gift this season, Marie Kondo recommends skipping the wrapping paper in lieu of the Japanese tradition that involves using a reusable decorative cloth, similar to something like a bandana, to wrap your presents.
Nice. Or like I'll give you something in a reusable paper bag.
Yeah.
Just
Well, a lot of the
my
times,
Trader Joe's bag.
the gift bags you can reuse over.
Oh,
and
we
over.
have a stack.
Yeah, I would say
My husband's
that's a good
always
way
like,
to do
what's the plan?
Yeah,
honey, like as they just pile up.
The problem is, not buying new ones every year because the cuter, designs are out and you're so tempted.
Or then you're like, I need it for this exact size or this thing, and so you're like, well, I don't have. It's all of mine right now are like kids' birthday parties.
Right.
Like,
so maybe just go the idea of gifting experiences. I like that.
I like that one.
Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here. Happy Friday to you. You made it to the end of the week, and right now we're just seeing a little bit of cloud cover here on Clouds and Radar. Not going to see anything falling from those clouds today. As far as a live look outside goes, I'll be watching the visibility closely. This is the view from our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies weather camera there in southeast Austin. We can still see the building, so that's the good news, but some patchy fog will be possible between now and sunrise. Temperatures 30s and 40s out there, just a touch warmer than yesterday, but still cold. Still warranting a jacket if you're going to be out there braving the crowds for Black Friday. Here's what I'm talking about when it comes to the patchy fog. Most areas are good, but we do have slightly reduced visibility in Lago Vista. Some low clouds hovering over Fredericksburg as well. So something to think about if you find yourself in an area of low visibility. You want to keep it easy on the speeds and not use those high beams. Hour by hour, just high temperatures today, warmer than yesterday, yes, but still running cooler than normal. Mid-60s is where I expect us to be. Looking at your weekend, you'll notice we're a touch cooler starting tomorrow, and then we're going to do the same kind of thing Sunday, largely because of the cloud cover and some spotty rain we expect. Now, telling you right now, this is not widespread. This is not like to be heavy rain either. But if I show you what our high resolution models are painting for the picture here Saturday, you'll notice the cloudy skies, a few spots of light rain. We'll continue that overnight into Sunday. But Sunday's rain chance looks to favor the first part of the day. We'll get drier skies on the back end here. Perhaps even a little bit of sunshine there before sunset. Rainfall looks very minimal between now and the end of the weekend. A few hundredths of an inch, if anything, but we'll add to that, looks like late next week with another storm system on the way. So 7-day forecast shows dry skies for today, sunshine, scattered clouds, mid-60s. A low rain chance for some spotty light rain showers tomorrow. We'll do the same thing Sunday morning. Breezy conditions following that cold front, and look at the drop in temperatures. We're starting next week off cold, highs only in the mid-50s, likely to see a rural freeze on Tuesday morning. Slowly recovering with those numbers towards the end of next week.
Thank you, Kristen. As some are turning their attention to Christmas, many Christmas tree lots here in Austin are already up and running.
Yeah, Papa Noel Trees has Christmas tree lots scattered all across the city with a variety of fir trees. The Loop 360 lot manager says it's fun not only for memory making for families, but as they pick out their trees, they say it's fun for the workers too.
It's quite the experience, really. You get to help a lot of people, pick the right tree they want and kind of help them in choosing their tree. Some people have little ornaments and some people have big ornaments, so we have a tree for each of them.
Or really tall ceilings or short ceilings. We have one of those guys, Tom, those little reindeer. We're headed to Papa Noel tomorrow.
I know you
can't
are.
wait.
I know you are.
I've been holding out till after Thanksgiving, but they have 6 locations around town. They've been around Austin for more than 40 years. They also have one spot in San Antonio.
Yes, an institution. Yeah. As Congress scrambles to move forward with regulations on artificial intelligence technology, the Federal Trade Commission is taking matters into its own hands. Last week, the agency announced a new competition. As Washington correspondent Raquel Martin explains, it's challenging private citizens to help protect people from AI-generated phone scams.
The federal government warns AI technology is turbocharging phone scams.
Anyone can be hit by these kinds of scams.
Will Maxon is with the Federal Trade Commission. He says in a matter of seconds, scammers can clone someone's voice and trick panicked loved ones into coughing up big bucks.
Because it's going to be very hard for the consumer who thinks that they're talking to their grandson, to their child, to know whether it's a real person.
With congressional action lagging, the FTC is launching a competition to try and rein in the problem. They're offering a $25,000 award to anyone who can innovate a solution.
Same AI technology essentially being used to actually protect consumers.
The FTC previously launched similar crowdsourcing competitions to help reduce robocalls. The number of reported phone scams have dropped dramatically since 2019, but the scams themselves have grown more effective.
Because when you hear a trusted voice on the phone, you act differently than when you're hearing from someone you don't know.
Lisa Gilbert is with the consumer advocacy group Public Citizen. She applauds the FTC strategy.
I think it's really smart. The problem of AI is that we don't have guardrails and it's evolving incredibly rapidly and we need more minds.
But she says it's just one piece of a broader solution. Ultimately, she says Congress must pass legislation to protect consumers from AI-generated scams. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is vowing to pass sweeping AI regulations, but has yet to roll out a package. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
The FTC says that it will open its applications in January. There is a small but powerful device that Dallas's top cop says is increasingly putting the lives of officers and the public at risk.
It's known as Glock switches. They can turn a handgun into an illegal gun machine gun. Katie Blakely has the push to take them off the streets.
When Dallas police and U.S. Marshals went to arrest a capital murder suspect last week, they were met with gunfire. One DPD officer was wounded.
He's hit. I'm good, bro. I'm good. We are fortunate our officers are alive today.
Police Chief Eddie Garcia says 20-year-old Jordan Owens fired a modified handgun equipped with a switch or auto sear that allows a semi-automatic to fire automatically in seconds.
He was armed with an illegal weapon. With a modification, we and our law enforcement partners work to take off our streets daily.
The nickel-sized device is banned by the federal government, but the city's top cop has repeatedly called on more to be done. Numbers from the ATF Dallas office show the spike in recovered switches from 36 in 2021 to more than 1,000 in 2022. The ATF credits the decline this year to their takedown of manufacturers and work with local police.
This is what law enforcement is asking for. This is what your community is asking for to get these things off the street.
Special Deputy U.S. Marshal and McKinney lawmaker Frederick Frazier says use of the relatively cheap switch has exploded in Texas and nationwide.
Now the ones that you're seeing on the street are manufactured everywhere, and they're from a folks that has a machine shop to someone has a 3D printer.
He says federal agents and prosecutors are overwhelmed, so he's pushed for a state ban to give local law enforcement more teeth and save lives.
This bill protects them. Not only does it protect them, but this protects the citizens that are going to get hit with one of these.
That was Katie Blakely reporting. Frazier's bill in the regular session failed, so he tried again during the special sessions and says he will file the bill again if the governor calls for a 5th special session.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Texas has its chance to have the second to last laugh in the Big 12 Conference, but the first step is making the title game and a win over Texas Tech. Today, that could happen without any tiebreaker scenarios needing to play out.
As Texas gets set for its final Big 12 regular season game here Friday evening against Texas Tech. A lot of emotions surrounding this one. As we said, last guaranteed game as a member of this conference. Of course, what Commissioner Brett Yormark said before the season about hoping Texas Tech does to Texas what they did last season up in Lubbock. And then, yes, senior day. And what a senior class this is for Texas. For some of these veterans, like a sixth-year guy, it's not their first time being honored on senior day. And you got to know when to laugh at yourself.
A little bit embarrassing, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like right when I decided to come back, my little sister, who's 12, she texted me. She's like, "So you're gonna run out the tunnel again? That's so lame."
Maybe no senior in this class has fought through as much adversity as Jordan Whittington. The wide receiver broke his collarbone in 2021 against Oklahoma, an injury that had him contemplating even playing football after that. It was his mom and his head coach, Steve Sarkisian, that told him to stick with it.
I was at a very low point in my life, and them doing that, I really thank them for that, because there's no telling what would have happened if I didn't have those people.
For Whittington and the rest of this senior class, they've been consistent in their goal, win a Big 12 championship. Well, Friday, really the last step in getting to Arlington, and they know how important and meaningful it'll be.
I know Witt came back for it. I know C. Jones came back for it. Sweat did. I did. We were all just looking to, leave our mark on this university and really do what we came here to do.
Last year's regular season finale against Baylor went pretty much as well as it could have for Texas, but they still did not make that Big 12 championship game because they did not control their own destiny. Now, of course, they do, so it's as simple as win and you're in. If Texas loses to the Red Raiders Friday, things get awful complicated at the top of the Big 12 race. On our website, that's KXAN.com, we break down all the scenarios so you can see which ways Texas would get in and which ones they would not. For now, at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium, Noah Gross, KXAN News.
For those listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you here on this day after Thanksgiving. Here's what we're tracking at 5. As millions spend the week with their families, there's a new survey showing the traditions so many of us follow.